Hello and welcome to the Rose Rehash. That's right, every Monday night after the Bachelorette, we recap the show, I give out some awards, and then at the end, I take your audience questions. If you want your question answered, tag me at Jared Freid, write your question, we'll take it at the end of the show. What a powerful, heavy episode. So many heavy things came up this episode. Before we get into it, I'm going on the road. This weekend, I'm going to be in Nashville, a last-second booking. So if you're in Nashville, you know someone in Nashville, let them know. I'll be at Zany's in Nashville this weekend. Also, Red Bank, New Jersey. So go to my website, jaredfreid.com, jaredfreid.com, jaredfreid.com. Nashville, it just came up. I'm going to be there Thursday through Saturday. Come on out. Assemble the group chat. So let's get into tonight's episode. We start where we left off. We start with all the men getting gaslit by Carl. This Carl saga went too long. It was too much Carl because by the end of it, you kind of got the idea that, like, this guy ain't staying. He had his moment. We gave him his time. It's time for Carl to go. But Carl sticks to his plan. He's like, no, someone step forward. After the 30th minute of him going, someone here, not here for the right reason, let's see him. And they're all of the men are just teaming up together going, we don't know who you're talking about. You went from saying one person needs to step forward to a group of people that are here for the wrong reasons, and they basically out Carl as a liar. Carl then goes off to the side and starts shadow boxing. He's like, I got to get into this. And then you found out that Carl's bark was more than his bite. He's off camera saying, I ain't leaving. They're going to have to drag me out of here. Carl goes full Trump in, no, they're going to have to get me out of here. No, this is all fake. The voting was rigged. And it's like, Carl, walk out. And then, so we go to the rose ceremony. Katie gives out roses. What's that? We got a focus issue. We're going to try and fix this. This is live, baby. Do we fix? This is a problem. Okay, do we have it? Okay. There we go. Okay. So we're back. Okay, now listen. So Carl, we go to the rose ceremony. Carl is, a non-entity. He's saying he's not going to leave. They end up giving out all the roses. He doesn't get one. But before we get to that point, Hunter, or Mike, the God guy, it gets his rose, and he looks at Katie and he goes, I have to tell you, we have all decided that we want Carl to go. He basically assembles all the men like they're the Avengers and they're going to take down Thanos. And it's actually a nice move because it shows Katie, hey, we're together with you. We see a bullshit artist. We're letting you know this right now. He is out. So this was actually kind of a cool moment because it's showing they're like, we don't want to deal with this drama. Get rid of him. Let's play the game. It's kind of the way it seems with the men in the house. It's like playing pickup basketball, and they're like, this guy keeps fouling everyone and complaining with every call and calling fouls. It's slowing us down. We want to play basketball. Get rid of this guy. So they all let her know as a team, he's out. We're in. Get rid of him. So this happens. Carl's gone. He didn't, put up a protest. He just left the house as you would. And we go to our first group date. Now, the group date is going to be, they have a group of men, whoever it is. Katie brings them and she says, I want honesty. She's basically leaving the Carl situation. I want to know some honest facts from you guys. And she brings them to a room where they're going to have a circle of chairs. And leading this honesty session is Nick Viall. Nick Viall leading an honesty session is like bringing in a murder. It's bringing in a murderer Nick Viall trying to figure out who's honest is like bringing in a murderer to figure out a murder. Like, it is like, he's the best at this. He's the best liar in town. Bring in Nick Viall. He can spot a liar from a mile away. And it's like, this thing where Nick Viall has become some sort of truth teller because all of a sudden he has a girlfriend. But like, this guy came on the show when he wasn't even cast on it, just showed up one season. He's been on the show like 5 times. He goes to Paradise. Like, the idea that he's like, I heard some of you have been ghosting people and you've been, breaking up and cheating. And it's like, Nick, are you talking about yourself? Like, who are you talking about? Where did you come in to be this, like, Mr. Honesty, Nick Viall? What a brand change he's made. So they sit in the circle. It does get heavy. It gets pretty serious. People are, telling about times they've cheated. They're saying about times that they've been angry drunks. And at the end of it, Katie talks about consent. And it is a very powerful moment. It's one of those things that you watch and you go, wow, Katie does a great job at being the Bachelorette. She does a great job, and she's doing what she said she would do. She said, I'm going to be real. I'm going to have tough conversations. I want to get honest with these people. I want to talk about the difficult things in my life. And she seems to be doing that. And this whole talk, and they have a hug afterwards, like they just did trust falls. It was a very sweet and deep and serious moment that you don't see a lot on The Bachelorette. So we move on from that. We're going to go to the end of the group date. They have the cocktails. Okay, at the cocktail hour, this is when Thomas sits with Katie, and you start to get the feeling that Thomas is a bullshit artist. She asks him, she's like, what red flags do you want to tell me about? And then Thomas just doesn't even answer the question. And she says, she goes, I just asked you what your red flags were, and you just said you were like, you liked me. Like, no. What are your red flags? And he's like, I'm just too humble. I'm just too much of a cuddler. I'm just too much of a lover. I look too deeply into your eyes. And it's like, Thomas, something isn't going right. And they interview Thomas afterwards, and he's like, I didn't like how that went. And it feels like Thomas needs to win every interaction. Aaron goes and talks with Katie, and you can see this scene where Thomas all of a sudden is just hovering around Aaron. He's just hovering around their date, and he cuts in. And he cuts in on Aaron. Aaron gets sent away, and now Thomas is talking with Katie, and he's like, he starts in this whole gibberish about love and fear are the same. And you're like, dude, where are you getting this from? And it seems as though Katie is buying it. Aaron gets sent away. He tells the other guys, I got cut in on. Thomas is getting another opportunity to talk with her. There's people here that haven't talked with her at all. And they all start to feel that Thomas is bullshitting. And I do too. It doesn't feel right with Thomas. It just feels like something is off. It feels like there's nothing behind his eyes. Also, during this deep session, everyone gets deep. Everyone's talking about mistakes they've made and how they could be a better man. And Thomas is like, before I came here, I went on a date. And you're like, Thomas, like, it felt like he was imitating being an open person, and he isn't actually one. So Aaron, who started off as this, like, is he an asshole? Is he a douche? Aaron is one of those guys who's just straight up going to talk to you about it. He's not going to sit there and just get bullshit to your face. He's going to have it out with you. And I like Aaron. I like that Aaron is calling people out because he is looking for the truth, and he's calling out the bullshitters in a way that, it creates drama, but it doesn't feel like he's after drama. I'm an Aaron fan. So at the end of that day, Connor the cat gets a rose even after he made out with Katie, and it feels like every time Connor the cat hangs out with Katie, it feels like he's trying to fix the bad makeout he had prior. So he gets the rose, and Connor, not a very sexual being. He gets the rose. He goes off camera. He's doing shoulder shrugs. You're like, okay, I don't know about this dude. So we get done with Connor, and he gets the rose, and we're going to go back to the house. Michael A. is going to get a one-on-one date. Now, Michael A. has revealed that his wife has passed from cancer, and he's here. And when I first heard that, I was like, man, it's so strange to like go to the Bachelorette. Like, is that you begin to wonder, you're like, who suggested this to him? Like, because the worst people suggest to you to go on The Bachelor. If you're single, you'll have your worst married friend be like, you should go on The Bachelor, or you should go on The Bachelorette, and you're like, that's not a serious, that's like telling someone who's like, I suffer from depression, you're like, go for a walk. Like, The Bachelor and The Bachelorette franchise seems to be the worst recommendation from your worst friend. So you begin to wonder, like, Michael, did you take bad advice? And then Michael explains on his date or why he's doing this, and he explains it perfectly. He's like, I just thought this was another adventure. I deserve to find happiness. And you're like, wow, Michael A., like, you might be the most likable guy I've ever seen on this show. Michael A. goes on his dune buggy date. He's all smiles. He's a great time. He gets to the dinner at the end, and he tells the story about his wife who passed. And you're sitting here going, is this, like, in the way that Thomas was not authentic, Michael A. is authentic. Michael A., the way he explained how he loved her and he's looking for new love and she deserves his own experience with Katie, but this will always be someone in his life. And you're like sitting there, tears coming down your cheek. You're like, Michael A., if Michael A. doesn't end up with Katie, he will be the next Bachelor. There is no question. He has won everyone's hearts. He's been all smiles. He's fun. He's nice. I can't say enough. And the way he told his story, you go, I buy it. Why? I mean, why wouldn't you? But the way he said it was very authentic to him, and it was a great Michael A. I mean, like he blew everyone away. Now we get to the end of Michael A.'s date, and we're going to come back to the house, and basically there's going to be a Thomas interaction or intervention. So all the men are going to sit down and question Thomas on what's going on with you, dude. And it feels like the Avengers are reassembling. Like all the men are like, okay, we're going to call him out. And Hunter's going to lead the charge. And Hunter says to him, did you come on here to be the Bachelor? And he's like, I wouldn't say that. He's like, did you come on here to be the Bachelor? In 2 seconds, Thomas is like, well, I came here to be the Bachelor. I came here for a platform. And you're like, dude. He's like, what? And you watch him have this moment with them and you go, okay, so now everyone, here's the thing though. I can't believe, in Thomas's defense, I think Thomas is a bullshit artist, so that's why none of the things he says are like real or it's just him trying to win each moment. But it is disingenuous for those other men to say, you thought of being the Bachelor before coming on the show? It's like all of them thought that. All of them thought, the best case scenario for anyone on the show is to come in with an open mind and let's see what happens next. That's really the best case scenario. The idea that someone would come on and go, I'm going to marry her is kind of crazy. The idea that someone would come on and go, I'm going to get that Bachelor, that's kind of crazy too. The answer is somewhere in the middle. So let's just be realistic here and say to the guys now, it's like, yeah, all of you had it float through your head like, whoa, maybe I'll be the next Bachelor if it doesn't work out. But the way Thomas said it, it was just very calculated. You don't really see anything going on behind the eyes. It just feels off. That was our show. Let's give out some awards. The Batchies is where I give out roses to my favorite characters and divorce papers to my least favorite characters. We're going to start with the roses. First rose goes to Aaron. Aaron was fantastic today. Not in a way. Here's the difference between Aaron and Carl. Carl was trying to create drama. Aaron got involved, was dealing with the drama that was created. Aaron was calling out for honesty. Carl was trying to create dishonesty to create the illusion that he was a better person. I think Aaron is great for this show. He doesn't let anything go unsaid. He's the type of person that if you say something, he goes, explain that. And he's getting a lot of people to explain themselves, and I like what Aaron's doing on the show. My next rose goes to Michael A. Michael A. told his story with grace. He told his story authentically. He told his story in a way that it just, all of it made sense, and all while pursuing Katie, which is what this show is all about. You know, you wonder, why would a guy like this go on the show? And then it makes sense the minute you hear from him. I think he's the next Bachelor. I think if Thomas knew the way, like Thomas should just leave the show now because there's no way he could be the next Bachelor with Michael A being here. The last rose goes to all the men except for Thomas. I like how the men are coming together like the Avengers. They're like, we see bullshit, Avengers assemble! And they're like, get them out. They're like, us 10, that one, douche, we are good, they are bad. And I like the way that they're kind of figuring out to get these people out of the house. The power's in numbers. They know who they can hang with. They're letting them know. Like the idea, like when Carl is gaslighting all these guys and he's going and shadow boxing the corner, the reason he's shadow boxing is because no one wants to hang with him. If no one wants to hang with your boyfriend, do you want to be with your boyfriend? Everyone's crazy. That's the thing. Everyone's conspiring against you, or just this one guy. And I like how the men are doing this. Let's give out some divorce papers. First set of divorce papers, Thomas. I mean, Thomas had no real answers for any questions he was asked. Katie asked him about the red flags he mentioned. He's like, oh, red flags? Maybe I have, I'm just too good of a person. That's what's wrong with me. And then during this moment where they're all getting deep, everyone's getting deep, people are talking about these serious subjects. And then Thomas goes, before I came here, I thought about being the Bachelor, and that was kind of mean of me. And I went on a date before I came here. I'm happy we all opened up. It's like that's the only thing you can think of. There's not one other thing where you've been a jerk, where you can apologize to people, or you can open up. And it's like, Thomas, none of this feels real. All of it feels like a sales pitch. We got to get rid of this guy. The next divorce paper goes to the Hyatt in Albuquerque. The Hyatt in Albuquerque is not looking great. This looks like the last place I would go to for love. This looks like the place that you would go to at the first scene of a Dateline mystery. Every scene, there's vultures swarming around the top of people's heads. There's skeletons. There's tumbleweeds. Who on earth thought that this Hyatt would be a great place to exude love and romance? There's not even a body of water. All you see is taupes. All you see, I'm waiting for a dead armadillo to just be over in an alley somewhere. It's a bad place. It's a bad look. Every time I watch the scenes of her just looking off in the distance, I just expect to see a random drifter off in the distance. It's just a sad looking place, and it's not a good look on the show. My last divorce papers go to Tayshia and Caitlin. Where are you? Where are you? Is Katie hosting and being the Bachelorette? Where are you? The whole first scene is Carl taking over this show, gaslighting all the men. Katie has to give out the roses and question all the men, and then she has to go find you somewhere in the hotel. Like I half expected you to be sitting there scrolling your Instagram notifications, like, oh, Katie, you need something? Oh yeah, sure, I can give you 5 minutes. And then you give her this speech. You're like, well, we can tell you that your choices are your own. You're like, Caitlin, how does that even help? What are you talking about? Why don't you stand next to her and watch what's going on? Are you guys just hiding in your rooms? And then they're wearing the sparkliest dress. Give Katie the sparkly dress. Where's her sparkly dress? Why are you glowing when you're not even here at the rose ceremony? Come sit next to her and watch this show happen. Where are these hosts? Let's do some audience questions. What do you think about Blake coming back? So I saw they teased that Blake's going to come back. I was never a Blake fan. That guy was all, woe is me. Oh, I can never find a girl, as he wipes sweat off his abs. It's like, dude, we didn't want you there then. We don't want you back now. I don't know. I'm excited to see what happens. Let's see. At this point, who are your top 3 choices for Katie? I got, right now, I would say Michael A is in the lead. I would say, I like Trey, but we haven't seen him at all. And, Sensitive Greg got like 2 minutes on screen, and it feels like they have a connection. But that Sensitive Greg and Michael A are like way out in front. Thomas is going to get outed. So I would say Michael A and Greg and Sensitive Greg right now are in the lead. Why do you think Connor the cat keeps getting a rose since his kissing isn't improving? I don't know. Connor, I think Connor is to me, it seems like he's a personality. It seems like he's a bright star that shines in these group situations. It seems like all the guys like him. I mean, the guy's a musician, plays the guitar, sings, plays the piano. He's a teacher. He knows what it's like to be in front of people. So I think this is a very natural setting for him with all the boys, and I think that can be attractive to someone. When you see everyone kind of hovering around one guy, you go, that's a rose guy for me. I should want to be with him. Maybe even if I shouldn't. Even if he's not my match, I should want to be with him. Let's do two more. What do you think Caitlin and Tay should do all day while on set? I don't know. I guess get ready to not show up. Like, why even get ready? They should have been in their jams. Like, they should have been in like, it would have made sense if Katie went to go find them and they were like wearing the Scrooge McDuck, PJs with the hat on and the pom-pom on the end. You'd be like, oh, okay, they were in bed. I get it. They went to bed early. But like, the fact that they were dressed up was like, why aren't you next to her at the rose ceremony? Why don't you say there's one? Like, at least Chris Harris would come out. There is one more rose. Like, where are they? What's your red flags? What are your red flags? Oh, my red flags. I'm too good at sitting on the toilet for hours on end. I'm specifically a great eater while drunk. I'm too good an orderer. Like, if we're at a meal, I'll order too much all the time. Those are my red flags. And that's our episode. We'll be back next week. Boom.